Hello and welcome to another video. This is part of the series looking at how you can make gold in Guild Wars 2. This episode is going to be a slightly sort of different view in the fact that it is substantially risky. This is to do with the trading post and flipping items and just explaining a little bit about what that actually means. So the way you can earn money is by either selling some of your items on the trading post, or by looking for items that you think will go up in value just before an update or just in general, or by buying at putting a load of buy orders in, hoping that people will just sell to the lowest, to the sort of highest bidder, and then you can sell them on for a higher price. This will tend to work more for the higher weapons. However, it is, warning again, it does carry substantial risk. I have tried it and haven't always been successful. And there are those people that are who have hundreds or thousands worth of gold on their account. They can play the trading post extremely well. And I'm going to talk a little bit about just some of the strategies that they've used. I'm not going to obviously be able to say which strategies, what items to buy, because it changes all the time. At one point Ectos are going to be the best thing to buy. However, at the moment they're really crashing in price. And we'll talk about how that's affecting how people play the trading post. And I'm going to give an example. So I'll start off actually with the Ectos. If we go and have a look at the trading post here, we'll bring up Ectoplasm. So we'll search for Ecto. There we go, if I spell it right. And we'll look at the price. Currently, we're in mid-February. It's down at 33.78 for selling, 32 for a buy order. Now, for those that are wondering what the prices have been in the past, there is an excellent website that I'd recommend you go to. That's called gwspidey.com. And on this website, you will find some terrific examples and graphs of what things are going up, what things have gone down in price. I've just got a screenshot here of their front page. You can see, for example, trending up. There's like a strong high-end dagger has gone up 168%. Although it's only worth 3 silver, that's so it's not too much. But the Carrion Verdant short bow of air, that's actually gone up almost 100% in the last hour. So you can see some of the changes through this website. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put up a page now, and it will show you a graph of the Ectos and how sort of the prices have fluctuated since game launch. And what I've found interesting is that obviously at launch things were a lot different. It was around 17 silver for an Ecto. That's the cheapest it's ever been. But you can look back and you can look at like months over the past few months what it's been going up to. I think the peak price we actually had was in November. I think it was trading at 46 silver. This is the Ectoplasm. And so what people would do is, and I'll use my guildmate as an example. He had 500 Ectos and he was, saving them, and the Ecto price was dropping a bit recently. So he wanted to try and make, this is how he made his money. He would sell Ectos, and he put his 500 Ectos and they're around 39 silver. It's now down to 33 silver, and because he's put 500 Ectos, because of the listing fee being substantial for 500 Ectos, he's going to lose out massively if he then decides to sell. So he's in a bit of a situation where, if he sees the price dropping and like Ectos, he listed them at 38 silver, for example, and then the next day it's down to 36. Do you suddenly remove them from the trade, the TP, take the hit, relist them as the lowest possible value, sell quickly, and then just know that you're going to make a little bit of profit, or hope that the price goes back up, which is what he did? And unfortunately the price has dropped even further. And it's it's a good example of real life economics, that there is so much supply of Ectos in the game at the moment. That it's saturated the market. There aren't any new events or new items. You look at Winter's Day, no items needed ectoplasm. You look at the Canton New Year, no items needed ectoplasm, and it's getting the fact that so many people. I've got a stack of ectos in my bank that I'm holding on to because I'm not going to sell them now. I'm going to hope that when the expansion pack comes out, the ability to do for precursors, legendaries will become more available. I'll be able to spend them on different things. But yeah, why has if we look at what people are a bit under, if they play the trading post, they don't always understand what affects certain things, and why has Ectos dropped dramatically. I'm just going to go into this. I'll only spend briefly about amount of time about Ectos and why they are a stable form of currency for earning gold. But the fact is, if you can look at, I'll try and do a print screen for you guys now. I can't actually show you what I'm looking at, but we can see that it reached a high over the last few months back at the beginning of January, which just coincided with the end of Winter's Day and the beginning before the end of season 2's the last living world episode. And what happened in that episode? We got the new Silver Wastes event, the final boss event, and since then Ectos have crashed dramatically. I mean, you can see that in a matter of a week it dropped almost it dropped at least 10%, and it's actually dropped down, if you're considering that it was a high of 41, and it's now down to 35. Yeah, 35. So it's dropped 6 silver, which, if we do a quick quick maths, is around sort of 15 to 18%. I hope that's my maths is right. And it just shows you how, if you were playing, this is, a lot of people do this. They buy a lot of Ectos and then, put in a load of buy orders, and then we'll sell them put them back on the trading post at a higher price and hope to make a little bit of profit. It hasn't worked out like that with this drop in price. A lot of people have been left out of pocket because there's just so many Ectos. But just for example, I'll come back and we look at some of the higher value items. What else can we play how do we play the trading post? Well, I mentioned beforehand, we had like the strong sort of iron dagger. That's only a sort of, why is that sort of, what reason has that got to go up in price? And it's because somebody's putting a huge amount of buy orders or bought up a load of them, and will then try to flip them and sell them for a higher price and make a bit of profit out of it. So it's anticipating the needs, it's looking at what you think's going to be in demand in the future. I mean, if you I'm not sure if any of those of you out there that remember before Ascended armor came in, there was so much silk in the market. It was just flooded the market like leather is now, and it was a useless material. And then suddenly you need 300 silk bolts, or 300 to convert into 100 bolts of silk to make a little piece of of Ascended armor, and it's just to make a bolt of Damask, and suddenly the price rise has gone up. If we take the expansion pack, I'm sure there's a lot of materials that are going to go up in value. Now I can speculate, but that's only judged on other people's speculation, and we don't know what's going to happen to some of the demand and some of the prices. So there'll be a lot of people buying items and hoping they'll go up in price. I know people have done that with the runes and the sigils. When they've had changes, they've either sold or bought sigils. But yeah, this is a very difficult ability to predict and to make money off this. You have to, having some sort of good economic skill. is, you know, I think pretty much a need for this. But let's go back and let's have a look at some of the high value items. Okay, so if we look at some of the weapons that we've got on here, you know, Immobilis, it's not even a legendary, and it's quite a high value. Most of these are precursors that are up here. You've just got some random weapons that are expensive, but look, you know, Reaper of Souls, Jormag's Needle, which is pretty expensive. But it's a lot of these here. If we notice that there's a lot of Primordus weapons that are quite substantial in high, and this is what I attempted to do, and it proved in the end a little, you know, I made a little bit of money. But you can craft a Primordus weapon for less than 37 gold. Again, I'll point you to the Guild Wars Spidey website that does a great job of looking at things that are going up in value, or that give you a good profit margin. So what I'm showing you now is a list on the Guild Wars Spidey website of all these Primordus weapons, which are all fairly expensive, and it's got a minimum sale offer and a maximum buy offer, and that margin can, you know, it gives some illustration. You've got the supply and the demand columns there, and you've got to look at which one, you know, you think is going to make you a lot of money. For example, let's have a look. Take the Primordus Star, for example. It's got a 36 gold. It's 22, sort of, you know, the buy price. But if you craft it, and it costs 28 gold to make, and if you sold it at 36 gold, you make 3 gold profit, because you have to remember to take into account the tax and the percentage for selling. And it's difficult to try and, with weapons, especially these, because somebody can come in and put in a few orders that are 1 copper less, and suddenly you've got to try and drop your price, and then it's the listing fee again that you've got to put up, and it is a bit risky with these high value items that if they're not sold that often. But yeah, the flipping of the trading post, you know, making money off the trading post, it is a tricky endeavor. I would not recommend that anyone fairly new to the game would do this, because you can lose a lot of gold out of this, and it does take a lot of gold to buy up a lot of items and generate that, you know, the movement in the market on the trading post of things going up and down. And yes, I would only if you are experienced and you want to risk playing the trading post, would I advise this option. It can be profitable, it can be very, very profitable, but it can also be very, very risky. I hope this has been a bit of an explanation as to why people have been doing, you know, what things people go for, why they go for certain items, and, you know, how can they generate, you know, how can they generate profit by buying a load of, you know, putting a load of buy orders, getting people to sell, to give them at a lower price, and then putting them back up at a higher price so that people buy them all and make them money. It happens all the time, particularly with great swords, you know, and other high risk, high value items. You want to look at the difference between the sell, the highest buy, you know, request, and the lowest sell listing. And if there's a big gap, you could buy up at you know, put in an order for a low price. If somebody sells it to you, then you can sell it for a higher price back on the trading post, minus the tax and the listing fee, and make money from this. It is, you know, it's doable. I've done it a few times, but I haven't ended up making too much money, and I've found that the risk outweighs the profit, and you're always a bit stressed. And I hope this video has been fairly useful for you guys. If you've got any, you know, comments, it probably hasn't been the best guide for a lot of people out there, but it's the final way that I believe that people can make money. If I find new ways, I'll be putting them up on as a new video. But thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.